Yo, guys, this is a quick video for you guys. I was thinking about the importance. All men, all they have really is their word, right? So let your yes mean yes and your no mean no. And unless it like somehow like you got tricked into saying yes or tricked into saying no, or it's going to, make you commit a mortal sin or something like that. I mean, you stand by your word. If you say you're going to be somewhere or you're going to do something, you do it. I mean, this goes for your wife, your family. Now, one thing I will say is it's going to be a little bit different for women, right? Because women don't necessarily only have their word. Like, it's almost like expected that their yeses mostly mean maybe and their nos mean maybe too. And I've seen that, and you've seen that everywhere. But as a man, yes means yes and no means no. And you have to have firm boundaries with that. It's like if you're expected to do something, be somewhere, you're putting expectations on yourself. Maybe you're a couple guys, like if you're listening to this right now, maybe you made a New Year's resolution. You said yes, and you told everybody, I'm going to go do this. I'm going to quit drinking. I'm going to stop smoking. I'm going to get to the gym. I'm going to eat right. I'm not going to snack between meals. And then you didn't do it. That means you know. That means how weak you actually are. And you just even did something worse because you displayed your weakness and not even honoring your word to your own self of how actually weak you are. Like, do you understand how important it is that yes means yes, no means no? All you have really is your word. Your word could kind of impact everything you do. Um, People rely upon you. When you say yes, you're going to do something or be somewhere or perform a task, like they rely upon you. Um, so really, really think about like your commitments, how that even affects you psychologically. Like if you say yes to yourself, I'm going to go do these hard things, and then you don't do it, you're like emasculating your own self. It's unreal. That's unreal head case. And every time you do that internally, you get weaker. Whether or not you tell anybody, you could not tell a soul on planet Earth. And I recommend with a lot of, if you're going to do something, not telling anybody because you don't need to broadcast it. It's not about validation. That's weak and weird at the same time. Um, but you have to make sure that yes means yes, and you don't do that thing mentally where your yes and your commitments all of a sudden become meaningless to you. And when you broadcast it, it becomes meaningless to everybody. Everyone knows your character is so soft. Like everything about this guy is soft. Like he's just weak. He doesn't keep his word. His no doesn't really mean no because he has no firm boundaries. It just means like, I'm going to push back on this guy. And that happens to those guys. That happens. I mean, it's the same thing. Like, think about like, maybe you got bullied, maybe you didn't. I don't know. Um, but if you don't push back against that bullying and kind of take a stand, they keep coming and coming and coming and coming and coming. Like they won't stop. Like the second somebody senses a tiny bit of weakness, they're after you. So again, keep your word, make your boundaries very, very firm. Think of it as like a castle, right? Like you got a land that God gave you, and in that land you can put up walls, right? And you should, like, you should have walls surrounding your entire God-given land. And inside there you have, you know you have a church, you have walls, you have everything you need. You have a citadel, you have a castle inside there. You need to defend all of it. And that's, your borders, your word. So when somebody pushes at you, like your no means no, it's like this is a boundary that cannot be crossed. And your yes means yes. When you say, hey, we're going to go do this, or mentally you're going to go do something, that you just go do it. See ya.